Richard Sibbes, Antidotum contra naufragium, episode 15. Alias sibi metuant ab hoc deposito ut rebus suis inimico. Magno redemptum velent nullum esse depositum. Quando hoc consequi non possunt, conantur omnibus modis de lumbardre scripturas, sed criteria sanae doctrinae non nihil perpendamus, ut hinc judicium fiat penes, quos sit depositum. Sibbes continues in his polemic against the Roman Catholic position on the Scriptures. In other places, or in other ways, other respects, they fear for themselves, sibi metuunt. This would be a dative of disadvantage or a dative of reference, perhaps. They fear for themselves ab hoc deposito, from this deposit. Deposito, which is here being used substantively to represent the Scriptures, is then modified by this parenthetical expression, as though inimico, something that is hostile or unfriendly, rebus suis, to their own interests, their own position. So deposito here is neuter, singular, ablative, with the preposition ab. It is the source of their fear. And then inimico modifies deposito, also neuter, singular, ablative, and rebus suis is feminine, plural, and dative, hostile to their own interests. Magno here modifies, I believe, an implicit pretio, an ablative of cost, the specific cost of something. At a great price, they should wish that nullum depositum, no deposit, had been purchased, redemptum esse. Velent is an imperfect subjunctive. It's a potential subjunctive of the past. They should wish that, and it introduces indirect discourse, of which the subject is depositum, and the predicate is nullum and redemptum. Esse is the verb of the indirect statement. Depositum is the neuter, singular, and accusative subject, again with redemptum and nullum. So they should wish that no deposit had been purchased, redemptum esse, at such a great price, we might say. Now the question arises as to why redemptum esse should be translated in English as a pluperfect. And the reason is that the main verb, velent, is a past tense. It's imperfect. As infinitives in Latin show relative time, because the infinitive is perfect, it has to show time prior to the imperfect of the main verb, and thus in English we would say had been purchased. Depositum means the deposit of the faith, but it also is a term used in commercial transactions, and this is the pun I believe that Sibbes is making. They should wish that the deposit had not been purchased, redemptum esse, at such a great price, because quando they cannot attain this, hoc consequi, that is, they cannot return their purchase, so to speak. They cannot get a refund on their purchase. They attempt, conantur, and this is the deponent first conjugation verb conor, conari. They attempt in every way possible, omnibus modis, in multiple ways or in all ways, they attempt delumbare, to weaken. That's a first conjugation infinitive. They attempt to weaken the Scriptures. This is the object of delumbare, feminine, plural, and accusative. But the criteria, neuter, plural, accusative, and not a transliterated word from the Greek, but one brought over with Greek letters, but the criteria of sound doctrine, sanae doctrinae, let us weigh them a little bit, non nihil, somewhat. Perpendamus is an independent subjunctive. It's a first-person command, and thus we would call it hortatory. But let us weigh a little bit the criteria of sound doctrine, in order that, ut, I'm taking this as a purpose clause, from this weighing and measuring, a judgment might arise, judicium fiat. A judgment as to in whose possession, penes quos, and this is an interrogative adjective, in whose possession the deposit sits or is situated. In other words, to whom the deposit belongs. This ut here could also be, instead of purpose, it could conceivably be result. There isn't enough context, I think, to determine conclusively. Sibbes was appointed a preacher in 1617 at Gray's Inn, London, one of the Inns of Court, and here is a photograph of that institution.